Welcome to my new Let's Play of Sonic CD. As the second game in the Sonic Origins collection, this is probably one of the most polarizing 2D games in the series. In actuality, I'm not even sure how I feel about this game, so let's find out. First of all, we have a few options I wanted to go over, starting with the soundtrack. This game is based on the 2011 mobile version that was also released on PS3, 360, and Steam, so some of the menus from that collection have been incorporated into the start menu, essentially. There's the US soundtrack and the Japanese soundtrack. I have a lot of nostalgia for the American soundtrack, but I prefer the Japanese soundtrack, so we're switching over. There's another option worth looking at in settings. So, Sonic CD's spin dash works differently than Sonic 2's. It's a bit slower in CD, so I would opt for the Genesis spin dash. And finally, there is a time attack mode, where if you can actually complete stages fast enough, you can unlock things like some of the animations and also like a sound test. We're not going to go over like the extras and the time attack because I'm not that good at this game to unlock everything, so let's jump into the game. For this playthrough, we will be playing as Sonic.
In heaven, stay alive. Now shoot me. We're going to have fun. Say, lights off. Excalibur. It's about that bar. What do you mean? Give and take. Going home. Side zone. Check it out, eh? Live alone. Leather legs. Getting in place. What do you get? Say, back jet. Zoom room. Cosmic zoom. That's up, Jay. It's Sonic Boom. Sonic Warrior. Sonic Warrior.
You always need a pay. You got the power to save the day.
Take a little chance. Slip on through. No matter what you do, you gotta do for you.
Sonic Warrior, Sonic Warrior. The power is in your mind to shake the planet, to conquer time. To the Sonic Warrior, deep in space and time. To the Sonic Warrior, whether in mind. Nothing can spy the way to stay alive. If you try, you can do anything. To the Sonic Warrior, always takes a chance. To the Sonic Warrior, never sitting down. Nothing can spy the way to stay alive. 'Cause if you try, you can do anything.
Alright, so we're starting out with Palm Tree Panic Zone 1. Slightly confusingly, acts are actually referred to as zones in this game. Also, the opening scenes are way louder than the actual game itself, which from what I gather was actually an issue in the 2011 version also, that was not corrected for Sonic Origins. One thing that actually was corrected was actually the aspect ratio. It was a little bit stretched in the original, and is actually more accurate in this version. We still have the drop dash, which is actually really good because one of the main mechanics involves trying to go very fast. We'll go over that a little bit later. For now, I just kind of want to go through the stage. Sonic CD is a very unusual game. That is very unfortunate because I actually need rings. This goes by Sonic 1 special stage rules where you actually need rings to enter the special stage, so I actually will backtrack a little bit to try to get some extra rings here and there. So yeah, in general, I do prefer the Japanese soundtrack for the levels, but I will admit I do like Sonic Boom more than You Can Do Anything, which is the Japanese vocal theme. I kind of wish there was a toggle where you could choose both individually, but oh well. We have these little signs that say future, and we saw one previously that said past. If we pass by one of those signs, you might notice the little icon in the bottom of the screen that'll actually say like whatever the sign said. If we build up enough speed, we can actually time travel, so that's the main gimmick. We won't be time traveling yet, but probably next stage we'll try to show this off. So basically the plot is that Sonic arrives at Little Planet, which appears above this lake every once in a while, but basically Dr. Robotnik has chained the planet, so Sonic is trying to free it, essentially is the plot. Also, Amy Rose is introduced in this game. One interesting thing is Amy Rose is commonly associated with tarot cards, so the new animation for Sonic Origins actually incorporates that lore, which is actually kind of cool. There's Amy, also known as other names like Princess Sally erroneously because of the Archie comics. Well, with that, we are done with Zone 1. Sonic CD's special stages are a thing. Being on the Sega CD, they kind of want to flex a little bit, and I mean they do, except I don't like these. I have issues with depth perception in video games. I've talked about this in a lot of playthroughs, and guess what? This is very much kind of a Mode 7-ish style special stage. And so my depth perception does not necessarily agree with these. We basically have to go around this little arena and destroy all the UFOs in a time limit. If the timer gets too low, you'll notice a sound cue, and then a special blue UFO will appear near the center of the arena that will give you extra time. Stepping in water will also drain the timer faster. As a reminder, there are no lives in Sonic Origins Anniversary Mode. Instead, there are coins that can be used to retry special stages, which is good. I can't believe it. We're only on special stage 1, and I might already need to retry. I don't know what I expected, and yet I'm still slightly optimistic that I'd be able to get through these relatively in one piece, and yet here we are, already having a tough time. And I missed. But again, depth perception isn't great, and also the hitboxes aren't great either, so it's a very unfortunate combination sometimes. Again, I know my luck. As soon as I start talking about struggling, that's as soon as everything starts to turn around. So instead of Chaos Emeralds, we're actually collecting Time Stones. There are 7 Time Stones. By the way, even though this game is chronologically second, it actually did release after Sonic 2, hence why we have moves like the Spin Dash, even though, again, it works differently in the original, while in the 2011 version, you can opt for the Sonic 2 style Spin Dash, which is way better, because you have more of a charge-up time with the Sonic CD Spin Dash. Like, instead of button mashing, you kind of hold it to charge up, which is a lot slower. So yeah, we have the little future icon on the bottom. If we build up enough speed and maintain it, you'll notice these little sparkles, and if we go fast enough for a long enough period of time, we will go to the future. I actually don't want to go to the future, I actually want to go to the past, to show off another interesting mechanic. Sonic CD is actually unusual for having 2 different level clear criteria for the good ending of sorts. So the first is to collect all 7 Time Stones. The second is to actually go to the past and find something special in each stage. Let's see if we can pull this off. And with that, we're in the past. So we have a different level theme and different backgrounds. One interesting thing is in the US soundtrack, you'll still have the Japanese soundtrack. So we have these things here called robot generators. If we break that, and we can also find something else worth destroying in a bit, but that is one of the criteria for the good ending as well, to basically find the robot generators in each stage. We also have this little projector showing Metal Sonic, who we'll be meeting a little bit later, and we can also destroy those as well. So yeah, there are basically 2 ways to get the best ending: go to the past and create a good future by cleaning up all the shenanigans in the past, or just collecting the time stones, which I'll be opting for in this playthrough. You might have noticed in the level end card, it actually said Sonic made a good future, which indicates that we did break everything we needed to break to create a good future in that zone. But we didn't in Act 1, so we're already out of luck for that ending criteria. If we find any robot generators, it'll just be very fortuitous, but I'm not making a point to show them, because honestly, I've never been able to find them all. If you don't manually create a good future in Zone 1 and Zone 2, the boss stage, Zone 3, defaults to the bad future. So yeah, there's basically a good future variant and a bad future variant of each stage. And yeah, if you don't actually make a good future, then you end up with this. Here we have the first boss, which is actually kind of a joke. Stand on the right and just attack 3 times, and that's literally the boss fight. Already done. So yeah, the bosses are very interesting in CD. We have a little bit more to go, which is a little bit different than the other games, but here's the capsule we need to break. Moving on to Collision Chaos, I feel like this is kind of the deal breaker for me with the US soundtrack. I want to say it's this stage that actually has a really sad song for how upbeat the stage is. So there's Metal Sonic, he captured Amy. In the version of the game I'm currently playing, which is the Switch version on the Day 1 patch, there's actually a sound effect missing. There's supposed to be like a little eek from Amy as she's being captured, but that's missing. Another sound effect is missing as well. Traditionally, you can actually get a time over in Sonic CD where if you literally don't move for 3 minutes, Sonic will say, "I'm out of here," and then leave. So the voice line is actually missing. I don't know why these 2 voice lines are missing in this version, but it's an odd omission, to be honest. So yeah, this is being recorded like with the Day 1 patch, so by the time this video comes out, which to be fair, I'm not even sure when this video is coming out, in terms of like scheduling around other projects. Basically, there could be another patch out by this point. I'm always a little bit torn about doing like essentially like early playthroughs of modern games because you never know what the current state of the game will be like in comparison to like the state of the game in a couple of like weeks, months, etc. But in some ways I actually kind of like playing games off like the Day 1 patch or early updates because you actually almost get a different look at the game. It kind of creates a different perspective because you're getting that initial impression of how the game was at launch. A good example of that is actually a different Sonic game, Sonic Mania, which actually had a boss changed out in later patches of the game. And that is actually literally unplayable now because you can't unpatch the game to the point where you can actually experience this boss fight. So it's one of those where I kind of wish I had footage for if I inevitably get to a Sonic Mania playthrough. So yeah, little quirks like that kind of make it interesting to go through games like relatively close to launch. Again, slightly like, you know, it might not age well because certain glitches and other weird quirks might be ironed out in the future, but it also gives a different perspective of the game in its like early state. Collision Chaos is basically your Spring Yard zone of this game, which is not my favorite thing in the world. I don't like Spring Yard in a lot of ways just because of all the weird physics with bumpers and stuff, and we also have like pinball flippers and everything, and it just kind of sucks, to be honest. Guess we're kind of stuck here, so let's show off something else. If you hold up and then press jump, you can charge up the super peel out instead of a spin dash. It kind of makes sense in the original, because the original spin dash was so bad, to have a second spin dash adjacent move. I am extraordinarily stuck, actually. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do here, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I'm really lost in terms of like how to navigate this. Like, is this a soft lock because this is Sonic Origins and it's not the most stable collection, or is this something I actually can get out of somehow? So yeah, it's always this sort of tough call of like, is this an Origins problem or an original game problem? There we go. It's actually way simpler than I was making out to be. I just needed to not jump partway through the ramp. That was my bad, actually. Sonic CD generally has pretty long stages, and it doesn't help that you have to look for things like robot generators. Special Stage 3. There's a very specific special stage I'm not looking forward to. Eventually they start adding like spikes that'll make you lose rings and also slow you down. The blue UFOs tend to give you items like speed up shoes, which I don't like, because going fast in these special stages is really not helpful. It actually, to me, makes it worse. Because like you have so little control, and then having less control makes it even worse.